Hey guys, I don't know about you, but I've certainly been in this dilemma in the past, and that is that I need to figure out everything right now. I think it's important to give yourself permission sometimes to not need to know everything right now. You maybe your life seems incomplete. You have this tinnitus problem, and things seem out of control, and you feel like you have to control it right now. You have to know what to do right now. But it's okay to let yourself not know everything, and to not know exactly what to do right now, and let things be a little bit out of control, and you don't have to solve everything right now. It just takes a load off. Right now, you're listening to me. Good. And right now, you can find something to do that would be somewhat worthwhile. For the big picture of solving everything, you may not be able to know that right now. So you have to give yourself permission to be okay with that. I mean, pretty much all of us in some way have something spinning out of control in our life right now. Obviously, some people, they're very rich and they have a wonderful, loving family, and people are always praising them. But I can assure you, even them will have periods in their life where they are not so in control and things are not going so well for them. So we all have to face this. But sometimes when we get so uptight about it and so worried about needing to solve things, we actually put ourselves in a place where we can't do that very well. So it almost works against us to think this way, that we have to solve everything right now. But we can know that things will change. Some things are temporary, and what seems so difficult right now may seem easy later. And I think you can think about that in many things in your life in the past, where something seemed like a really just impossible challenge that you would never solve, but then you ended up doing okay. Maybe you didn't solve it the way you thought you were going to solve it, but you solved it in a way that was, workable. So it can be like that with tinnitus. You think you need to solve it a certain way, but it may not be that way at all. And that's where I see a lot of people say, I'll never be able to habituate. Well, what is that even? Do you know what that goal is? Or is it just something you've heard people say? Habituate is a word. I see it criticized a lot. But maybe your ability to get to a place where you're managing, you're doing okay, you're actually maybe doing pretty good, might not be exactly the way you think it is. So that's why I first want to invite you to say, you don't have to know how to solve everything right now. None of us do. I have so many problems that I don't know how to solve, but I'm just working on them one at a time and finding something that I can do right now. And what I suggest to you is, if you're having trouble coping right now, you have to find some things that you can do right now and not worry about the things you can't do. I'm always a fan of what I call neutral activities. Neutral meaning that there's not a lot of it doesn't have a grand effect on everything. It's just something you can do to change your mind wavelength. And you kind of say, okay, I don't have to solve everything right now. I'm going to do this. And here's what I'm doing right now. I've been writing Chinese. I've been studying Chinese for a long time. And it's kind of an interesting thing to write characters. I don't know if I could show you, in Chinese, and it's probably not that interesting, it's a series of strokes. When I'm writing, you can't see it, so I won't keep writing. But, I get busy doing something that actually leads to something. It leads to me being able to speak and write and listen to people in Chinese and take on a whole new language. And it could be any language, but you could go about studying some sentences and it's kind of neutral. It doesn't have an effect on the grand scheme of your life, and you having to solve everything right now. It's just this one thing that you're doing where you are studying some sentences, writing something, maybe listening to a recording, maybe finding somebody online you can practice your language with. I mean, that's something I do. There's a lot of other things you can do. But these neutral tasks, are very good for just kind of getting your mind onto something else, reading a book. So it's just an interesting thing. Just coming back to the theme of this video about how we get so stuck on this one thing that we have to solve right now, this sound. And then it becomes the central part of our thoughts right now, maybe the central part of our life. And that thing that you can't solve becomes more and more difficult to deal with because you're always trying to solve it and you can't seem to solve it. So you don't have to know right now exactly how to solve it. Let me even say maybe you don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know. I still have the sound, but I've conditioned myself to not place such a high importance on it that I have to solve it. Let me turn this off. I just wanted to get into the silence and listen to it, and I hear it. And I don't know what other people's loudness is like, but mine's not exactly quiet. I can hear it pretty good, and with the background noise, I can still hear it, but it's easier for me to sort of tune it out a little bit. But me tuning it out, me not placing such importance on it, is I've increased my ability to think about other things. In other words, not needing to solve it right now. That sort of thing. Oh, I have a loud neighbor though. I don't want to listen to his voice. I'm going to turn this thing back on. I have a neighbor that he yells at his video game, and it's almost like he's killing people, and it's kind of weird. I'm going to move out of here in a couple of months. Anyways, and that's something. The yelling neighbor and him saying crazy things. That's something that I can become obsessed with. That oh my God, this neighbor. But I try not to think about things that don't help me right now. Right now, I can definitely get better at Chinese. What could you do right now that might lead to some improvement? Do you need to clean something? Do you need to make your bed, put up your clothes, maybe get rid of some old clothes that you don't need? Do you need to organize some of your files? Or is there something where you could exercise? There's all kinds of things you could do right now. And if you could just get yourself onto those things a little bit better and get better at doing that and not worry about the big picture of everything you have to solve, you might find that the tinnitus becomes less important and the other things become more important. And the way you think about tinnitus will be different than you think about it right now. So that's my message for today. I hope it will help you. Keep going. Best wishes for you. Mm-hmm.